Okay. So we're going to work on finishing the figures in the back and the lantern, and then we'll move forward to this section and we try to finish it if we can today. I'm going to zoom in. Okay. I have here Payne's gray because it's a bit blue and white. So I'm going to mix a bit of white and Payne's gray. Put any color you like. It doesn't have to be blue. Could be brown. Any color. This is really a very minor detail. And it shouldn't look too strong. Soft color will be good. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to take round, small brush. I can even just take white and add it to my blue or my Payne's gray and put the glass part. And I think the top part of the lantern is a little bit lighter. But really, no matter what we do right now, it's going to look, it's like a miniature right now, painting a miniature. It's very, very small. This is an 8 by 10. Right. I think I used last week, I'm going to make it smaller. I think I used cerulean blue for the background. So instead of making my lantern big, I'm trying to make I'm making it smaller by adjusting the background. I think the camera is picking up too much detail. Right, that's enough. Okay. Let's now work on the people. So I see in that reference someone wearing bluish, darkish blue. I'm going to start with that. Maybe I'll put that dark blue here. well, we don't want these whoever is in the background to be to look too strong. So I'm going to make it really kind of more like an abstract. Person here. Let's take a bit of brown now. I believe this is either burnt umber or raw umber. It doesn't matter, one of them. This is a good one. Okay, I'm going to start with a sticks a bit of white. Okay, some brown and white, any brown. Let's see, we can put, okay, let's make the brown a little bit darker. Honestly, I don't want to put any detail because there's so much detail at the bottom here. I just want to put silhouettes. But you're welcome to put as many details as you like. Now this person in the back, one more down over here. That person here is standing with blue behind. So I'm going to put a bit of, I don't know, a little bit brown instead of blue, and we'll highlight it. This person looks like a child, so small. gonna let it dry and see how it goes. If it needs anything, I'll put a bit of color. This is too small. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. So basically, it's more like an oval for the head, and it's like that. Shoulders, go in, taper the shoulder in. Maybe add an arm. And that's it. So if I want to put a color, I can take, let's say, a bit of ochre, darken it a bit, put yellow ochre top. So it's not just black or this is a little bit of red. Any red. You know what I would do? I would take a bit of burnt sienna, add white. And put a bit of color. I'm gonna darken my burnt sienna a bit. Make a face, put a face. Same here. Makes a big difference. Okay. All right. This is enough, the background. Since I have red with me right now, I'm just gonna put the first a layer of red for the sign, because we finished the tree, so we can do that. And this is cadmium. I think cadmium red medium will be fine. Or cadmium red light, doesn't matter. That's the fun part. Okay. Take a bit of black and work on the cat. Oh, jeez. Okay. I have some sap green in a jar left over. I'm going to use it. Use a bit of sap green or some green, yellow. Clean up around the cat. Right. Okay, so this is dark green. I think it's hooker's green, and it's hooker's green deep hue. So it comes, hooker's green comes in a very dark hue. It's called hooker's green. Let me see if I can find it. Hooker's green permanent something. Okay, here we go. It's hooker's green deep hue permanent. And it's usually with Liquitex, and it's very, very dark. I'm using a round brush. Any brush will do. I think there in the reference there are two umbrellas behind each other. So we'll just simplify this. I'm going to put one umbrella only. Or we could just continue the wall in there. We'll figure out this part. All I need to do right now is make sure there's green in here, dark green, in this part. And continue this wall to the back. Which I think I was using raw umber for the wall, for this part. It was raw umber. And take a bit of yellow. Doesn't matter what kind of yellow. Yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, whatever you have. Let's put some cadmium yellow light actually. Very gently touch the, with the tip of the brush. Just touch the dab some green right here. I left this part darker on purpose. I don't want it to be as highlighted as here. Now I'm going to take raw umber, and titanium buff. I think that's what I used. Just a bit of raw umber and titanium buff. I might put a bit of black in my raw umber, but in a minute, not now. And titanium buff. This is where black is going to come in handy with the titanium buff. I'm going to darken all of this. I'm sorry, it's black with raw umber. It gives it depth. I just want to push it back because once I put this person in the front, I don't want anything to, I want the whatever in the back or around him to be a bit darker. Okay. I'll deal with this later on. Okay, this is all good. A little bit of titanium buff and raw umber. See? I think it needs to be grayed, you know, just a bit of gray in here, a bit of black to make it gray. Right there. I'm going to take just titanium buff and put that highlight. By the time we put all of the details of the people sitting and front and back, and this is not going to be a problem. It's not going to be shown that much. Any color will do. Whatever you like in there will do. Because this is just in the back. Okay. I think we can start working on this part. Now this part, everything is very dark underneath in here. Almost black. So I'm going to take black and brown. And really what I'm going to do is try to put some of the chairs so I'm just using black and brown, raw umber and black. And I can highlight them later on or put any detail I want in here. But for now, I'm just putting that strong color of black. And then I'll decide what detail I want to put in there. I'm also trying to simplify a bit what's happening in there. Just too much detail. I'm going to put dark and then I'll highlight this. Add a bit of black in here. I'll highlight when I want to highlight at that point. When I darken, I'll add the details in a highlight. There's a bicycle in here. I removed it, so I will be putting green in here. Some plants. But for now, I'm just gonna put dark everywhere. And then I will highlight and deal with the details. The details right here, some of the details really don't have to make sense. Because if you look at the reference very carefully, you will see that some of the details, some of them don't make sense. Okay, so there's green in here. I'm gonna let this dry. And I'm gonna take some green. This will help with the details. Background is the hardest part because some of the stuff we're looking at in the background actually are not that clear. But that's okay. We can always do something in here. I'm darkening my green with a bit of black, especially at the bottom part. So, okay, let's see. There is some kind of confusion in here. I really can't tell what's happening, but that's okay. All right, that deals with some of the details in the back. We'll come back for the highlights. Okay. For this part, I'm using raw umber and Payne's gray. You could use burnt umber as well. So I'm going to work on the people sitting here in the back. So let's start with the head. Just brown. I might need to darken my brown a bit, so I'm using Payne's gray and my raw umber. I'm gonna let it dry a bit before I continue. It's gonna need more than raw umber. It's gonna need some black in here. Stick black, raw umber, mix them. Oh, that's better. While this is drying, I'm going to add some black and Payne's gray to this part. I think that's kind of like a pants for this person or trousers. Same for this one here. Okay. I'm going to simplify, try to simplify if possible. This is red. Let's put some raw umber in it just to tone it down a bit because you don't want this red to come forward too much. But it's a nice kind of touch in there. Let's take this person, this one here, and put the red top. Another one here, small one. I'll take a tiny bit of white or titanium buff. Change the red into a pink, kind of. Let's put some detail on this one here. All right. Let's get some blue. Any blue. I'm going to use cerulean. Add a bit of Payne's gray in my cerulean because I'm going to highlight it later on. And I'm going to put a bit of white. Like light blue. And this blue, I'm going to make it a little bit dark. It's a light blue. I'm going to make it dark on this side and keep just where the back is lighter. I'll show you what I mean. There's a bit of light coming through here from the left. So it's creating a shadow, or I mean a light, nice light over the backs and the hair. So all of these guys in there are going to be highlighted a little bit. This one here, that one. This is cadmium red light. So I'm highlighting with for the reds. For anyone who's wearing red, I'm highlighting with cadmium red light. Blue. A bit of white. Now, some of, we're not going to do this right now, the chairs, but we're going to highlight the hair. I'm going to take the color of the hair. Let's add a bit of black. A little bit, not much. And I'm going to take white and put it in here. Oh. Any color you have, any brown. And I'm going to start highlighting the hair a bit, part of the hair. Let's see if this is enough. I think it's enough. All right, now it's good. And this one here, all of these sitting here, all of the people sitting here. It gives it a good, it's a good highlight because it just separates the heads. All of the heads sitting there. Okay, let's do that one too. On the back. Now, I'm going to take brown, any brown you're using. Put some white. And give those chairs a tiny bit of detail. Although we don't have to, but just a bit. We really don't have to do this. It's good just the way it is. Like a darkish brown in here, almost black is perfect. The more we work on the front, the less we're going to see of this background. So we're seeing this background right now because that's the only thing. But once we start working on the front, all of this is just would be really not necessary. I don't want to highlight it too much. Okay. Now let's finish the people. person who's sitting here. I'm going to use some blue. Let's put blue and a bit of red. That's a good color. For the person in behind, this lady, facing her on the other side, let's take a bunch of colors and tone them down. Blue, white, bit of red, bit of brown. Tone them down, make them gray. I think these people are sitting at a bar. So we can, if we want, put a bit of detail in here. And darken the bottom part. I'm going to move on to faces. This is burnt sienna. They got burnt sienna and white. We don't need to put another color in here. Maybe a little bit of brown, just to make the burnt sienna a little bit darker. Put some faces. Not much, not many. We could put a bit of kind of an eyes, a hint of eyes, nose and mouth, but we don't, it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be. You just keep them, keep the face with nothing, no detail. Okay. Some shoes and stuff like that. I'm not sure I want to put this, but I can decide later on if I want to put some shoes, but really it's not necessary. I can work on the pavement. So I'm going to take, sorry, it's the wrong color. I'm going to take raw umber and some blue. It's like a muddy color. It's like a bluish, grayish color. And I'm going to take some white, mix it in. That's a good color. I like this color, but I'd like to see brown in it too. Not only a blue-gray, some brown in here. Just kind of connects with the wall a bit. So I adjusted the color. It was a little bit too blue or too gray, too blue. I added raw umber and white, just made it tiny bit more earthy. Now I'm going to go to the dark part that I have here. And the more I go underneath the chairs, the darker it becomes. Really dark in here. I could wait for it to dry and darken it if I want. And I think that's wise. Just wait for it to dry and see how dark I want to go. Right, now. This is drying, so while it's drying, I'm going to do the ledge of the pavement. Let's take that, I'll put it here. So I need a dark color. I have a feeling this is going to look really dark, so I might have to highlight a bit, but doesn't matter for now. Good. Take some more blue. White. Brown. White brush. I'm going to start darkening a little bit this corner. This is just a bit of black. Let's add a bit of raw umber as well. Honestly, you're welcome to do anything you like in here, any colors. I will be putting a bit of detail eventually here. Switch into more of the browns. For this part. Good. This is dark. We need this dark so we can highlight, put strong light on it. Let it dry. We'll come back to it. Pick white. Add it to my greens and blues. I'm sorry, my browns and blues. That gives me a good highlight. I'm gonna let this dry and I'll come back to it. Okay, let's finish this part. All right, same. I'm gonna take some white. Mix it with my blue and brown. Okay, this is dry. This is dry, so I can put a bit of highlights in here. Go into a bit of darks now. Get here. Just a bit of darker value. Now, I take round brush and take some blue and brown. Let's bring it over to the side. This has more blue in it than the brown. So now I'm going to clean my brush, take some of the brown, put it here. That's good enough. This is a color that is kind of has a bit of white and a bit of blue. And I'm gonna come here and do the same. Just a couple. This is washed out because of the sun, the strong sun. But you could see a bit of detail in here. Actually, it needs a bit of white. It's too dark. It's drying very dark. That's better. A hint of something in here. A hint of those cobblestones that you see in Europe. And I'm going to take some of these too, put some in here too. They will dry darker. Right? If I find that by the time it's dry, if I find that this is a bit maybe too much, I can just glaze it and soften it a bit. Now, let's come to this side. I'm going to add white to the same mixture I have here, which is raw umber, a bit of blue and white. And I'm going to come here and put some highlights. Very, very nice kind of soft highlights. right now it doesn't make sense, but once we start putting this, it would look nicer. I'm not trying to copy exactly what I'm seeing, but just a bit of highlights in here. Right, this is where we're at this week. Next week, we'll start working on the building and the people in the front.